You know, 24 hours ago, our hearts were broken again as a nation. And I addressed this morning as I convened a meeting of our state police up at our State Police Intelligence Center, as we had gathered people from all across the state to make sure that we're doing everything we humanly can to protect all New Yorkers, but focusing on children in schools because of what we just witnessed in a small community in Texas. And I wanted everyone in the state of New York to know that as governor and in partnership with my new lieutenant governor, we will leave no stone unturned in our dogged pursuit of executive actions, directives from us, but also legislation that we believe is necessary to continue protecting the residents we are charged to represent. I just want to make sure that we never get this sense of feeling immune to the pain, because the pain that we felt from Buffalo, we're feeling from Texas, that has to be used as a catalyst for change. That cannot be normalized. That cannot be, oh, every day our hearts and prayers are with the victims, and once again I have to order the flags at half-mast. They've been at half-mast for too long already. So this is the call to action that we have heard long before. But to others who have not acted, we're going to call them out. And if it's shaming them into action, we're taking whatever we need to do, whatever steps are necessary to finally get sensible public safety, gun safety legislation across the nation, because we are one state and we will tighten up our laws. And I addressed a number of those today. But as long as there's other states, nearby Pennsylvania, where they have lax laws and gun shows where people can acquire what ends up being an instrument of mass destruction, we cannot guarantee the safety of the people in our own state. And I will also say I'm sending a message to the Supreme Court of the United States to the extent that they listen to a governor of New York. Do not overturn a sensible public safety law that we want for our residents. Do not overturn our right to protect people by then requiring us to accept concealed carry. Supreme Court, please do not do that to the people of our state. So that is the issue that's top of mind for all of us as parents, as human beings. It's real, it's painful, but we are motivated, emboldened, empowered now to continue acting, and I look forward to a resolution that we'll be announcing shortly with the state legislature on what we're going to do literally in a matter of days. But now I have a partner, once again, in this journey. Someone that, as I thought about who I wanted at my side in a role that I know can be deeply challenging, I've done this a long time. I know every corner of the state. And as Lieutenant Governor, now Lieutenant Governor knows, having represented 11 counties, 11 counties, there are so many exquisite parts of our state that need to feel they matter. And that is why I wanted a partner who understood the entirety of the state, that it is not simply the focus of attention in one part of it. It is an entire state that deserves to be felt like they matter. Showing up, whether you're the lieutenant governor or the governor, showing up proves that you're a community that matters. You have worth. You are worth fighting for. And that is something I know that Antonio Delgado knows in his bones. We've shared our views of what it means to be a public servant. And it means being a good listener, but not just listening to people's concerns passively, but translating those concerns into real action. That's when public service manifests itself and achieves its full potential. That's what drew both of us to this calling. He has an extraordinary background, and I think the greatest influences on his younger life, his mother, Thelma, his father, William, because you must have been doing something right. You must have been doing something right, and I honor you for that. because sometimes when children go astray, they blame the parents. So my position is, as a parent, the parents get the credit when the kids turn out great. So to Thelma and William, I want to give you a round of applause for raising this incredible individual. And to all his family members, Lacey Swartz Delgado, I cannot tell you how many people I've spoken to in the last few weeks who will say, yeah, he's a good guy, but you got to know his wife. She is extraordinary. So Lacey, I look forward to deepening our friendship between my husband, Bill, and the two of you, because we have so much in common. But I know that you are an amazing equal partner in the journey of assisting in the world of this your husband's profession, but you have also made many contributions on your own, and I honor that. And I thank you for also managing two wonderful young men at a time when I remember those years dearly, and they're wonderful kids. And I want to thank you for being such an amazing individual, and we are going to do great things together as well. So to the mother of Maxwell and Coltrane, but this moment now belongs to you and your family. And I want to let you know, we have many roads to travel. And like me, you'll know every single pothole personally before too long as you travel. But we also know that public service is truly the highest calling. There's certainly sacrifices, and time away from family is one of the greatest. But at the end of the day, the end of all of our days, when we look back on our lives and say, did my life make a difference? Did I make life better for other people? Did I make their roads just a little less bumpy? And if you can answer yes to that, I would say that is a life well lived. Antonio Delgado is living that life. And we're going to continue on this road together, so all New Yorkers know that they have a team representing them in our state legislature and in every corner of the state who truly, truly cares about them. And we have so much work to do, but we're going to do it together. So with that, I want to acknowledge the process that's going to go on here, the swearing in. So I will step aside and welcome up everyone who's involved in the judge, Judge Kevin Bryant, New York State Supreme Court from the 3rd Judicial District, the family. I think you're there. I will stand over here.
Son. It says son on here. That means I have to stand. It says son.
That's okay, but you want to stand this side, honey?
It says son.
You can snuggle up to me. Just snuggle up to me. You good, Cole?
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Antonio Delgado, do solemnly swear
I, Antonio Delgado, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of the Lieutenant Governor of the State of New York,
the office of Lieutenant Governor of the State of New York,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Hey, Max.
Coley, that's Coley.
But people love to take a picture of the kids. That's the only reason the kids are here.
Coley, just pose regular for a second. Hands down.
Right here, Max and Coltrane. Right here. Look right here.
Look at the camera. Look at Grandma Thelma.
So many cameras. I don't know which one to look at.
You know what going to do one with the governor?
I don't know which camera to
Look
look at.
straight, buddy. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great.
You're doing really well. Where? Stand still. Look at the camera. Look at the guy in the green shirt, honey. Hands down now, please. Hands down.
This smile is hurting my face.
We're good?
Great, thank you.
Good?
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you New York State Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado.
Good afternoon. My name is Lacey Schwartz Delgado, and I am Antonio's wife. It's very good to be with you all today. I had spent yesterday working on what I wanted to say to introduce Antonio, what I wanted to share about his character and our partnership. I was thinking back to when we first decided to enter public life, and Antonio ran for Congress in 2018. We sat around the kitchen table then with a white piece of paper and literally made a list of pros and cons. I was prepared to share with you today some of the reasons we are taking this next step in our commitment as a family to public service. And then I turned on the news. I saw the tragic images from Texas. I saw the faces of those grieving families and community in horror. When you see that, you ask all the questions, even the ones you wish you didn't ask. Why did this happen? How did this happen? Could it happen again? To someone I love? To us? So I didn't need to spend more time thinking about what I wanted to say to you today. How can we sit on the sidelines? I know Antonio can't, and I know that I can't. Our twin boys, Maxwell and Coltrane, are 8 years old. They are about to finish 3rd grade. They are the same age as many of the kids in Robb Elementary School in Texas. Their parents, just like us, sent them to school to learn. The kids were part of a community. They were having fun, being with their friends, doing what kids do. And they were looking forward to this Thursday, tomorrow, when their school year would end, the start of the summer. They were innocent kids just beginning their lives, but now those are lives that will never get lived. Their parents woke up this morning to empty beds. Like so many towns, from Sandy Hook to Parkland to Buffalo, the people in that town will never be the same. Before coming down here to New York City today, we went to our kids' school in Rhinebeck, just 2 hours north of here, to see their end-of-year chorus performance. On what was supposed to be a happy occasion, I could see the sorrow in the parents' faces and the fear in their eyes. It has to stop. I can tell you all the reasons in the world why I love my husband. I can give you all the reasons in the world why he has the character, the fortitude, and the experience to be the lieutenant governor. But instead, I'll tell you this. I am his wife and his partner, but I'm also a New Yorker, born and bred. And I'm the New Yorker who probably knows Antonio Delgado best in the world, maybe better than he even knows himself. And in this moment, when I look at our 2 boys, I get the most important reminder of all about why he's in this and why we're in this together. So with that, I want to introduce you to my friend, my husband, the father of my children, and the man who I'm proud to stand beside, the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of New York, Antonio Delgado.
Well, okay. Let me gather myself. Thank you. Thank you, Lacey. Thank you. You are everything. And you matter in so many ways that go unseen in this political world that we have faithfully tied ourselves to. But our vision remains clear. And I will figure it out. We will figure it out. We will figure out a way to see it through and to let it be seen. I love you forever and ever, amen. And that also goes for our little guys, Maxwell and Coltrane, who you all got to know. They inspired me to no end and ground me in ways only the two of them can. To Governor Hochul, thank you for your confidence in me and for giving me this opportunity to lead and be a voice at such a critical time for our state and our country. Together, in partnership, I know we'll be able to steer the course true for the Empire State that we both love. To Judge Bryant, thank you for swearing me in this morning. It means a lot to have you here, given that our bond initiated in New York 19. And to everyone in this room who has been at the foundation of who I am, you've anchored me in love, and through love have made all things possible, even the seemingly impossible. From my parents, to my brothers, and my sister, to my aunts and uncles, to my niece, my teachers, my church family, my basketball coach, my cousins, my New York 19 family, my friends, all of you. Every last one of you, thank you. I am here in this exact moment because of every single one of you. We are grieving today. We're grieving a great loss. The loss of innocence. The loss of children. Little boys and little girls with sweet smiles, silly laughs, playful minds, and joyful hearts. We saw that. Their whole lives were in front of them. As a parent of two 8-year-olds, I can't imagine. I can't. Lacey said that we went to school earlier this morning for a concert, and you look up there at those children and you see their love. You see how full of life and how precious they are, and they're bundles of love. And what is being done to protect them? What? At the national level, as a country, absolutely nothing. The deadliest school shooting since the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook. For over 60 years, the leading cause of death for kids and teens was car accidents. Since 2000, the leading cause is guns. Weapons of wars in our communities and in our schools. Too many parents like me and like Lacey are left to worry if their kids will come bounding down the school bus stairs or running out of the schoolroom lobby at the end of each day. Year after year after year, it gets worse. But the response as a country does not change. Church, a synagogue, a high school, elementary school, a grocery store, a concert, a festival, it doesn't matter. Time and time again, efforts to change gun policies at the national level have repeatedly failed. The most common sense proposals, universal background checks for all firearm sales, can't get done, even when 80% of this entire country supports it. The gun lobby and gun manufacturers specifically have a stranglehold on our democracy. Simply put, there are politicians out there who are bought and paid for by the NRA. We know stronger gun laws can work because they have. The assault weapon ban from 94 to 2004, which included a ban on large capacity magazines, significantly reduced public mass shootings, the number of guns and the number of gun injuries. Then the gun lobby succeeded. The law lapsed, and the body count started to rise again. This wasn't inevitable. It does not have to be this way. People are dying every day. Kids are killing each other every day. Neighborhoods are flooded with illegal guns and ghost guns, tormenting families and law-abiding citizens every day. It must stop. We need to act. For our children, we must act. And we must act now. And we must act, as my hero Dr. King once preached, with a strong and demanding love. That force for which all of the great religions have seen as the supreme unifying principle of life. We cannot be overcome by evil. We cannot let hate win. We must refuse the paralysis of fear and the apathy born of coping with anger. We must keep on pushing, no matter the obstacles. We must move with a purpose. Now, growing up in Schenectady, that's how I was raised, to move with a purpose. My parents worked for GE when GE was really anchoring communities in upstate and enabling working class families to reach up into the middle class. They instilled in me a real work ethic, tied to a set of values anchored in faith, family, community, and education. Education was talked about nonstop. The great equalizer, the gateway to opportunity. And my parents made sure to stay on top of me every day when it came to doing my homework. They knew it would be my ticket to success, and they talked about that. But they also made sure to ground me in faith. I grew up in the church, and I was there every Sunday. Whether I liked it or not, I was there. For me, the work that I do as a public servant is not about left and right politics. It's about right versus wrong. It's about being true to who I am. It's about actually caring about people. That was and is our purpose. My path to politics was not meticulously plotted out. I was fortunate enough to earn a Rhodes Scholarship while at Colgate and then receive my law degree from Harvard, where the best thing that ever happened in my life happened there. I met Lacey, who grew up just an hour away from me in Ulster. And much to my parents' surprise, I pursued a career as a hip-hop artist after law school. I heard some chuckles out there. I followed my heart, like I'm doing now. I spent 5 years doing music. I was broke. I was sleeping on air mattresses. I had odd jobs. But I was speaking truth to power through my music. I then came back home to New York to start our family and became a litigator at a white shoe law firm in Midtown Manhattan. Two very, very different environments. Two very different careers. But it's that diversity of experience that led me to want to serve in a time where desperately we need people who know how to bridge divides. People who know how to see beyond surface level differences. We have enough politicians. We really do. What we need are more public servants. There are far too many so-called leaders making this all about a game. Not in it for the right reasons. And we cannot afford that anymore. Too many lives, literally lives, are on the line. Our children's lives are on the line. The legitimacy of our very democracy and the very fabric of our nation is on the line. When Lacey and I decided back in 2018 to jump into the political arena together, we had no idea what we were getting into. But we did know that sitting on the sidelines wasn't going to get anything done. We both knew that this was a moment that needed people to step up and into public service. We needed to take our truth, speak our truth, and lead from that truth. The district I've represented in Congress is bigger than Connecticut and Rhode Island combined, nearly 8,000 square miles. It's a district that is 90% white. I was the first person of color elected in upstate. The work that I've been doing is the work of unity, the work of building bridges, the work of bringing humanity back into politics. That's the work. And as the governor talked about, it starts with listening. You gotta meet people where they are. You have to. It's a must. We're our hearts and minds and souls. And it's incumbent upon those who believe in democracy, really believe in democracy, who understand the power of democracy, to show that it can work. In Congress, I was able to pass and get signed into law 18 of my bills, 10 under former President Trump and 8 under President Biden. As leaders, we need to listen and work hard and find common ground and be effective. That's my commitment to New Yorkers. Whether you're for me or against me, whether you agree with me or you don't, I'm here to listen to you, to hear you out, and to serve you, to make your lives and your family's lives better. I know people are feeling pain. I know it. The middle class is being hollowed out. The fastest growing class are the working poor, living paycheck to paycheck. Half the country couldn't survive a $500 medical emergency bill without going into debt. Child care costs skyrocketing, health care costs skyrocketing, student loan debts on the rise. We have to right this ship and create more equity and access points to opportunity and care. I also know people are scared. They're scared for their children and the persistent threat of gun violence and rising crime and climate change. They're worried about an assault on truth, on facts, on our freedoms, on our rights, whether it's the right to vote, the right to choose. Our freedoms are under assault. We need leaders who don't make it their business to fan the flames of hate and peddle conspiracy theories. We need leaders who are committed to doing the important work of elevating our collective consciousness so that we may see ourselves in each other and realize that we're actually all one. People are feeling detached. Detached from their government, from their community, from one another. There's substance abuse and mental health crises. People are feeling more and more isolated, prone to the perils of social media platforms that shred all genuine forms of human interaction. More and more people have less and less access to their own government as money continues to overwhelm our political system and squeeze the vast majority of Americans out. It's putting a profound strain on our democracy. We must take this problem head on, and we can. It just takes work, and it takes love. Love of democracy, love of country, love of neighbor, and love of New York. New York has long been at the forefront of progress in this country. The women's right to vote, the right to choose, gay marriage, gun reform, labor movement, environmental movement, all ahead of the national curve. New York has always been a leader in a time of trouble, always a beacon of hope and light in times of peril and darkness. This is who New York is. We love New York because New York loves people, all people. It is the epicenter of multiculturalism, of what it means to be multi-religious and multi-ethnic. It is the epicenter of tolerance and acceptance, of progress, of our collective effort to perfect our union. In New York, every community counts. We are the Empire State, and we will live up to our ideals. I am incredibly humbled, beyond words, and truly grateful to be a partner with you, Governor Hochul, and with every New Yorker on this journey. I love you, and God bless.
Thank you for joining us in this celebration of the ascension of Antonio Delgado to be the next Lieutenant Governor from the state of New York. Very proud of his accomplishments in Congress and look forward to working very closely with him as we take on the challenges that await all of us with great urgency. So any questions?
Lieutenant Governor, if I could, you're getting kind of a late start here. There's only a month to go. Are you concerned about campaigning and getting your name out there, to a much wider audience? And second part, I ask you, you talked a lot about gun violence. Obviously, there's a big concern about that in this country. Are you concerned that by leaving Congress and a narrow majority that you're not going to be able to effectuate the kind of change you're talking about?
On the second point, we passed universal background checks through the House quite a while ago. It sits in the Senate. That's where it sits, and that's where it currently languishes. On the first point, I'll say what I'm focusing on, as I did when I first was elected in Congress, is connecting with folks on the ground all across the state, building relationships, listening to the needs of the community. And I think, as I spoke to in my remarks, I have no problem working very hard to do that day and night, and I intend to do that.
Lieutenant Governor, the House has passed universal background checks, as you said, but there will be a very competitive race for your seat. It's not a guarantee that it's going to stay blue, and there's a lot of concern that Democrats will lose the House. Kind of the same question as Zach with that framing, the fact that the House Democratic majority is in question, so by this time next year, we may not have a House that would pass such a bill again.
So this goes back to acting now. The notion that we would even want to wait that long when we're dealing with kids being killed in the way they've been killed, that we want to wait around until next year to figure this out when we have a bill currently sitting in the Senate and has been for a long time. That should be our focus, and that hopefully will be the focus of folks in the Senate.
For the governor, just kind of similar about gun legislation. We have 3 scheduled days of session left. You just said this morning you want new legislation to raise the age to purchase AR-15 style assault weapons. Various bills that you've been pushing for, including a program bill, which last I checked does not have a sponsor yet. How is that looking? Is that actually going to happen in the next 3 days?
You are correct that we had a gun safety package already delivered and spoken about with the leadership prior to even the Buffalo shooting, was what our time frame is. We've had conversations before the Buffalo massacre, I should call it. So we have been working on this for a while, but my experience with the legislature is an awful lot gets done in the final days. And after the last shooting, just less than 24 hours ago, I believe there's a heightened sense of urgency among the legislators. So there is legislation out there that will accomplish exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm very confident that we'll get it done before the end of session.
Governor, Buffalo schools announced new safety measures. I know earlier this morning you talked about state police doing drop-ins at schools. Would you support more increased safety measures for schools across the state, say metal detectors, searches for school visitors, locked doors?
I'll be working with all of our partners in local law enforcement. What we talked about this morning was deploying the state police to schools in the areas that they currently patrol. City of Buffalo is patrolled and protected by the Buffalo Police Department. So those are local decisions to the extent that they want to institute those in schools. But I will also offer that the state will be very willing to help them understand the available technologies, understand what has been tried and true that we think will be successful, and help them with the resources they need to do whatever we can to make sure that our children are safe in school.
And Lieutenant Governor, in Schenectady schools, and you are from Schenectady, there's been a big battle in the schools about police and increasing police in the schools. Activists have said they don't want police in school, they want more mental health professionals. At this time, especially in light of what's happened, what's your message to those parents who don't want police in schools? Do you think that we need to see armed police at the front doors?
My message is we need to do everything we can to protect our children, whether that's through law enforcement, whether that's increased mental services, whether that's increased social services, whether that's making sure that we're empowering our parents to be more invested and more involved in their children's upbringing. All these things need to be on the table and not treated as mutually exclusive.
Okay, last question, Ms. Governor Hochul, I wanted to ask you about Mayor Adams' proposals to put some mobile scanning technology in the subway stations to look for guns that in a way that people can still walk through them. Are you supportive of that? What do you know about this technology, and would you want to see it elsewhere? It's really
No, we're
different.
studying that technology and look forward to working with the mayor to do whatever it takes to make sure that people not just feel safe on the subways, but actually are safe. So that's very much on our agenda to be talking about. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you coming.